Hello, Lions fans, and welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike, and as always, we're diving on in. So, my friends, we are back, and we are going to be talking about a piece of news that has come out kind of very recently after the game against, the Rams. I'm going to try and wrap up talking about the Rams here today because obviously we need to start talking about the Bucs, but this was something that I just could not let go. I could not make an episode about this because I'm going to tell you this right now. When I hear people who want to complain, who want to throw, accusations, insinuations, whatever term you'd like to use, against the Detroit Lions, for me, that's something that gets my ire up. That's something that really bugs me because I'm the type of person that I take football very, very seriously. I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about my Lions. And I know for a fact that when it comes to Coach Dan Campbell, he is very passionate. He's probably one of the most passionate individuals on the face of the earth when it comes to football. And as such, when accusations get hurled at the Detroit Lions, that bugs me. Because the accusations that we're talking about, specifically in this video, is that there have been fans, and I'd be willing to bet it's mostly Rams fans, but I wouldn't just say only Rams fans, but there are fans out there that are insinuating, they are claiming that the Detroit Lions cheated in the game against the Rams on, Sunday night. And I was like, how in the hell could you say that the Detroit Lions cheated? I mean, I couldn't understand where this was coming from when I actually heard that that was something that was being thrown around. Because I was like, wait a minute here. How could we be cheating? I mean, you guys came in already, with a whole bunch of players injured. More players got injured. I mean, you can't say we're deliberately trying to hurt you. So I don't know what exactly the whole issue was. But I'm going to tell you, when I actually read what people were talking about as, the quote-unquote accusation of cheating, I just was like, dude, this is some petty freaking stuff. Like, this is stuff that's just absolutely ridiculous. Because for me, the accusation that the fans are making, and again, I'm trying to keep it very broad here, but again, I'm willing to bet it's mostly Rams fans. The accusation is that the Lions somehow camouflaged Kirby Joseph with the back wall padding, and that was what caused, Matthew Stafford to throw the interception because Kirby Joseph was so well camouflaged that he blended into the back wall that, Matthew Stafford didn't see him. And I was like, wait a minute here. So you're telling me that you think the Lions deliberately set up those back walls with the full intent that somehow, some way, that was going to lead to us, getting a freaking turnover at some point in the game because we'd already predetermined that that was going to happen. Like somehow we could look into the future and say, hey, you know what? This could come back and actually be a benefit to us. I'm just like, dude, that makes no sense. Like, how can you even think of that as a possibility? Because the first initial reaction I have is it's just plain out stupid, first and foremost, because those back walls, they're blue, obviously. And I'm just going to say this. For Matthew Stafford, who was the quarterback, Matthew Stafford has played in numerous stadiums. He's played with numerous teams, numerous colored jerseys, whatever have you. Trying to say that the back wall somehow made it to where Stafford couldn't see Kirby Joseph because he just blended in, I don't understand how you could use that as an excuse because Stafford's been playing this game, what now, freaking 14, 15 years or something. And for me, I was just like, you're trying to tell me that somehow Matthew Stafford, this high-quality caliber quarterback, somehow couldn't see a player just because he blended into a blue back wall. That to me just doesn't make any sense because, wait a minute here, the Detroit Lions jerseys are blue, but last I checked, they also have white and silver mixed in. So it's not like, that the Lions' whole uniform was just blue. Because, oh, that's right, the helmet also has silver in it, the helmet also has some black and a couple of other colors in it. So it's like, to try and say that somehow Matthew Stafford just couldn't see Kirby Joseph because he somehow blended into the background is just absolutely ludicrous. At that point, you're literally grasping at straws. You're trying to come up with some lame-brain excuse to try and say, oh, well, we shouldn't have lost that game, and we're going to try and blame it on X, Y reason. And it's like, dude, you literally are being childish about it at that point. But the second thing that bugs me about this is that, okay, folks, the Lions have literally worn the same colors forever, almost. Like, we've always worn blue, if I recall correctly. And for me, what I find particularly funny about this is that the Detroit Lions have always worn blue at home. That is why we are called the Honolulu Blue Team, because we always wear blue as our home color. Well, here's the thing. Ford Field has been around since 2002. And unless I'm wrong, but I'm pretty confident I'm not, those back walls that are, on the walls around the freaking field, particularly at the ends of the end zones, they've always had blue padding on them. So it's not like, all of a sudden the Lions had, not put any padding on there and then just decided to start the game and say, hey, you know what? We're just going to put this up here because, again, we're trying to cheat. We're trying to find any advantage we can. I'm going to tell you this right now. The Lions don't need to cheat. The Lions don't need to get any extra advantage. First and foremost, one of the most talented rosters in the NFL, number one. Number two, when you come to Ford Field, especially when there's 66, 67,000 screaming, raving fans, why would we need something else when the fans are going to do more than enough to disrupt an offense's ability to get on track and have rhythm because they can't hear themselves think? So you're talking about something that, even if that was the case, you can't bet on it actually working because there's no chance of actually knowing when there's a potential for some sort of a turnover to happen in the end zone and that actually be a throw. But then at the same time, those back walls have always been there and they've been the Lions' home color. So again, it's not like the Lions just had some master plan and just thought this up. So for me, when you take a look at this whole idea, this whole insinuation that, the Lions are somehow cheating or cheated, just to me is absolutely ridiculous. But that's only half of the story when we're talking about this podcast. The thing I find funny, particularly in this situation, is this. People are always quick to try and point the finger at the Lions for somehow cheating, somehow doing something, and I'm talking about pretty recently here, for somehow trying to do whatever it is to try and get the game to go in their favor. Because think about it. We're talking about this particular situation right now with the Rams and the stupid back wall camouflage story. Okay, let's go to last year, shall we, with the Cowboys game about how everybody tried to say the Lions were trying to cheat by confusing the refs, which again I thought was rather funny because according to Dan Campbell, all the refs, save the head ref, which was Brad Allen, was in the locker room meeting where the Lions specifically told the referees, oh, by the way, these are the plays we're going to run that are trick plays, and we're going to draw it up exactly how we're going to run it. So I find it funny that the guy that threw the flag that didn't know what the hell was going on, somehow, people are going to say that the Lions were trying to confuse the refs. I don't see how that's even remotely possible because all of the video evidence, everything that has come out since then, all points to, oh, Decker was going over to Allen to report in. Decker did that. Brad Allen, somehow, some way, either one, didn't care, didn't listen, whatever it was, and because he didn't know what was going on, he covered his ass by throwing a flag because he didn't know what else to do. But yet somehow the Lions were trying to pull a fast one on the Cowboys and also on the refs. That to me is stupid. There's no basis of evidence for that. But that's only that instance as well because, oh, that's right. I don't remember what game it was, but after a game where the Lions lost and Jared Goff didn't have a particularly good game, and I think it was sometime last year, there were fans that were saying that maybe Jared Goff was shaving points because of how poorly he played. And I'm like, dude, that again is ridiculous. Every quarterback is going to have a bad game once in a while. Even Tom Brady's had bad games. Peyton Manning had bad games. Joe Montana had bad games. To say that Jared Goff was point shaving because he had a bad game against a specific opponent, I think is just ridiculous. But that's the kind of stuff that's happened over the last, year and a half. But what I find funny is that, oh, that's right, going back to the Cowboys incident with Brad Allen, the Lions were definitely cheated out of a victory in that instance because we did everything right, we followed the rules, but the ref, because he didn't know what was doing, covered his ass by throwing a flag and said, well, it's an ineligible man downfield, and on top of that, he shouldn't be touching the ball, when in fact, he did report in, there's visual evidence that shows he reported in, the ref just didn't know what was going on, so he covered his ass. But that's only one instance. Then let's go back to another Cowboys instance. Oh, that's right, in 2014, when the refs picked up a flag for a very flagrant pass interference, and somehow nobody really questioned that one, even though it was plainly obvious that, oh yeah, that's right, that was pass interference, and the Lions got screwed out of a playoff victory. Once again, nobody wants to talk about that. Okay, then, let's talk about the Packers game, if I recall correctly. I think it was on Sunday night or Monday night a couple of years ago, back when Matt Patricia was the coach. Who remembers freaking the 2 hands to the face call that were, again, not even close to reality? The hand never got anywhere close to the face, never got to touching the face mask, anything even remotely close. But yet, 2 specific times in that game, we got called for, and that was a big reason why the Lions lost that game, was because of those ridiculous penalties. Once again, getting screwed over by the refs, by the NFL. Oh, and then let's not even talk about, back in 2021 when Justin Tucker kicked that record 66-yard field goal in Ford Field after the game clock had expired by at least a second or two, but somehow nobody thought to blow a whistle or throw a flag for delay of game, which then allowed the Ravens to kick the field goal and obviously to win that game. So when you have people that want to say, oh, well, the Lions are cheating, I'll be like, wait a minute here. Time out. I would be hard-pressed in my mind to think of a franchise that has been cheated more than the Detroit Lions over the last 20-something years. So let me say this with all freaking feeling and animosity I can. Go and cry me a damn river. I have absolutely no sympathy. I have absolutely no, remorse when I say that. Because to me, it's like, dude, the idea that, the Lions cheated first and foremost is absolutely asinine. It's insane. But the fact that you and a lot of other people over the last couple of years have tried to say, oh, the Lions have been cheating and they're trying to do this, that, and the other thing, it's like, okay, I have no more time for you. I have no more patience for you. And at this point, it's like, dude, go pound sand for all I care. Go cry me a river and get the hell over it. Point of the matter is, we won the game. The other point of the matter is, Stafford threw the interception. Nobody thought about it being a cheating thing. The refs didn't call it. Nobody even thought about it. But yet somehow, some way, a whole bunch of fans after the fact are trying to come up with some lame brain excuse to say, oh, well, if this hadn't have happened, the Rams would have won and the Lions would have lost. Right, and I also know that there's one potential day that maybe I might become the King of England. But you know what? I'm not banking on that one anytime soon either. Just simply calling it for what it is. But having said that, I'm going to end this episode, get off this topic, and say thank you all for watching another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also encourage y'all to do one of these 3 things: like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, I highly want to encourage y'all, please make sure you hit that bell notification icon at the bottom of the page. And also, always, please subscribe if you want to. I also want to encourage y'all, please, to share this content with your Lions friends and family members. Share here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you can with everybody and anybody that you can, especially your Lions friends and family members. The more we can share it, the greater the channel grows and spreads. And with that being said to everybody, I hope y'all are having a great day. I hope y'all enjoyed the content. Whether you're a long-time subscriber or you're a first-time viewer, I hope y'all enjoyed it. And I hope everybody has something in their life that makes them happy, makes them smile. God bless, my friends. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.